Hello, kindergartners, and welcome to Friday. Another week. We're just blazing through, everyone, and you are doing fantastic work. Thank you so much for working hard, for putting in all that extra effort. Your brains are still continuing to grow and get ready for first grade, and we are going to be able to knock first grade out of the park with all the time and the effort and the work that you're putting in now. So you should feel really good about that. Thank you so much for all that you continue to do. Make sure that you thank your parents for all the time and the efforts that they are doing for you to make sure that you are ready for first grade as well, because they have to put in a lot of work too, and that is a good blessing for all of us. Okay, today and all this week we have been talking about our earth and how to take care of our earth, and I have a really good book I think you're going to really enjoy today. There's going to be 2 activities, and you're going to end up writing 2 sentences today. Remember our "and" words? Let's read them. Ran, tan, ban, man, pan, fan. What is this? Oh, van, plan, stan, dan, jan. Okay, remember these? You are going to write a funny sentence with 3 of them, 3 of these words. So you might say, I have a plan to ban Dan. Or the man sat in his tan van. So you're going to use 3 of the words in one sentence. So you're not going to write 3 sentences. You're going to put one sentence, but you've got to use the 3 of those words to make the sentence. Okay, so I will put a picture of this up for you to look at, and you can use 3. You're going to pick 3 of them out and make a cool sentence. Okay, the sentence can be silly, okay, but it still needs to kind of make sense. All right, the other part of your activity today is we are going to read Curious George Plants a Tree, and then you are going to write a sentence about that. Before we do read our story and you write your sentence, I would like to go hunting. Are you ready to do some rhyming? All right, the first thing we are going to catch today is a bat. Ready? Oh, a-hunting we will go. A-hunting we will go. We'll catch a bat. Put it in a, and then we'll let it go. Next thing we're going to catch is let's catch a bear. Are you ready? Oh, a-hunting we will go. A-hunting we will go. We'll catch a bear. Put it in a, and then we'll let it go. All right, the last thing we're gonna catch is a bird. Bird, are you ready? Oh, a-hunting we will go. A-hunting we will go. We'll catch a bird. Put it in a, and then we'll let it go. Very good. Let's read our story. Curious George plants a tree. Have you ever planted a tree? Let's see. What kind of trouble could Curious George get into today? Curious George plants a tree. George was a good little monkey and always very curious. Today was a good day to be curious. The man with the yellow hat was taking George to the Science Museum. The museum was one of George's favorite places. There was always something new to see and interesting things to learn. There he goes. Often there was a special exhibit. George wanted to know what it was today, but first he had to make his favorite museum stops. The Rocket Room. Ooh, that looks like a cool place to go. The Mirror Maze, and the Butterfly Space. How can you take care of a planet? Finally, George and his friend made it to the special exhibits room. The sign read, "How can you take care of our planet. George learned about many things: how people, animals, plants, air, and water on the planet make up the environment, how trees help keep the air clean, and how people can protect the environment from pollution and too much trash. George had a great time and didn't get into any of his usual mischief. And as he and his friend were leaving, they bumped into the museum director. Dr. Lee looked happy to see him. "How is my best monkey visitor?" Dr. Lee asked George. "I'm so glad I ran into you. I wanted to tell you that we're having a Green Day rally tomorrow at the park." George was curious. Whatever a rally was, he was sure that the park was a good place to do it. "We're going to plant a truckload of trees and collect used paper for recycling," Dr. Lee explained. "We didn't have much time to advertise, but we need lots of volunteers. How would you like to help out?" There was nothing that George liked better than to help. "What a great idea," the man agreed. "We'll be there." That night, George was ready to do his part for the recycling drive. He gathered every newspaper in the house. He stacked old mail on top of papers. He piled empty cardboard boxes and food cartons on top of that. What a heap. What more could he add? George scratched his head. Then he took several books off of his bedroom shelf. Uh-oh. Do you think that's okay to take your books to recycle? Maybe not. Just as George was about to add them to his recycling pile, someone lifted the books out of his hands. "Not so fast, George," the man said. "These books are made of paper, all right, but you can read and enjoy them many times. And when you're done, you can donate them to other kids or to your library. Reusing is just as important as recycling. Maybe even more important." So there they are, getting their stuff all put together. The next morning, George and his friend set out for the park with their wagon of neatly stacked paper. Suddenly, a man stopped and said, "I forgot my gardening gloves." "Go on without me, George. I'll be there soon." As George walked down the street, he spotted several newspapers laying out in the neighborhood's front stoops. George had an idea. He had lots of room in his wagon that he could recycle all of those newspapers. Do you think those people are trying to recycle the newspapers? And the newspapers were not the only things that he could recycle. He noticed a stack of paper cups sitting on a table under a tree in the wagon. It went. So did a pile of magazines. And a heap of papers someone left on the sidewalk. It says files. George was happy with the great load. At the park, he found Dr. Lee standing under a big banner. "Good morning, George," Dr. Lee. "I'm glad you came and you brought all your friends. We need lots of help to get the job done." George turned around. He was surprised to see so many faces, but they didn't look very helpful. They looked angry. Why are they angry? Because George took their stuff. They weren't done with it yet. The man with the yellow hat arrived just in time. He explained to the neighbors that George was gathering paper for a good cause. They were no longer mad. They even stayed to help plant the trees. "George, you saved our Green Day," Dr. Lee said with gratitude. "These trees will provide fresher air, and each summer we'll have more shade, which means we'll use less water to keep the grass green. Thank you." Being a monkey, George had known all along how important trees were. Okay, so George planted trees to help the environment. I would like you to tell me why we need to plant trees. So at the end of the book, it says trees will provide fresh air, They will make shade, which means less water to keep the grass green. It also provides places for birds to lay their nests. And it also is good for why can't I think right now? Cleaning the air, shade, homes for animals, not just birds, but lots of animals, right? Okay. Very good. All right. So today you're going to do 2 activities. The first thing you're going to do is write a sentence with 3 "and" words. Then the second thing is you're going to write why we should plant trees. Write a fact sentence. We should plant trees because why is it a good idea for us to plant trees? And that is all you have to do for today. So I hope you have a great day and a great weekend, and we will meet back up next week. The fun thing about next week is we're going to be finishing up a month and starting a new month next week. And on Monday, Charlie is 5 months old. Can you believe that he has been born for 5 months? Seems pretty crazy to me. Anyway, I hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy the weather, and I will talk to you on Monday.